Since the dawn of the 19th century, the American economy has been considered a lustrous jewel, representing superiority and unity of decades of development and innovation among the country's developers and its people. But what would happen if in 1 second, 1 month, 1 year, that lustrous jewel we call the American economy disappeared, and in its place, a dark, black cloud of high unemployment, unending debt, numerous of companies sending your jobs overseas, and above all, a dying economy? How would you feel? Well, good evening. My name is Yuyi. Tonight I will be exploring some of these pressing issues that have been debated by economists, politicians, citizens, and many other people since the beginning of these chaotic events that we call the 2008 economic recession. These issues I present tonight are unemployment and overseas jobs, and how these two factors are impeding the growth and revival of the U.S. economy. To assist me on my exploration, I will be interviewing Ms. Yanjun Zhu. Ms. Zhu will introduce herself and provide her background information about the topic. During the interview, I will be asking Ms. Zhu questions on her opinion about subject matters like the U.S. economy, unemployment, and overseas jobs, and whether or not it is hurting the American economy and former college students like herself in the jobless market. As you watch this video, question whether or not we, the American people, can accept these deprived economic conditions any further, and whether or not we are going to let it continue. Now, I introduce Ms. Yanjun Zhu. Thank you, Ms. Zhu, for this interview. Now, would you like to provide some background information about yourself?
Sure. My name is Yan. I attended my undergrad at University of Maryland, Baltimore County from 2004 to 2008. In 2008, I received 2 job offers as well as a few graduate fellowships to attend graduate school. I decided to pursue my graduate study at the time in mechanical engineering at Northwestern University. In 2010, December 2010, I graduated from Northwestern with my master's degree in mechanical engineering. And I spent 6 months searching for a job when I moved back to Maryland. And in June of 2011, I received my first job opportunity with Jacobs Engineering at Aberdeen Proving Ground.
First off, how tedious was it to find a job?
There's definitely a difference in 2008, where the job market was luxurious with jobs, and there were jobs everywhere. Interviewing for jobs was very easy. I actually started much earlier, 6 months prior to my graduation. I interviewed with companies, and jobs was really easy to come by. But when I graduated from graduate school, upon returning to Maryland, it was a much different market, as well as there's a lack of connections with my alma mater. So it was a little challenging. I sent out numerous job applications. I also attended a few career fairs and found opportunities there.
Going into unemployment and how tedious it is to find a job, and how you felt the difference between job market prior to 2008 and after 2008. What is your opinion on unemployment from 2008 to now?
Unemployment is definitely much higher. It's definitely much harder to find a job now than compared to a few years ago. However, I think the reason for high unemployment is also because our industry is shifting from decline in our automotive industry, opportunity in automotive industry to green technology industry. The green technology industry is not growing as fast as the automotive industry.
Now, how do you feel that our economy is still at risk with unemployment rate at 8.6%, even though in 2010 and 2009, unemployment rate was 11.6.
I do feel the market turning around a little bit. I mean, it's increasing. It's getting better. Um, I There are a few coworkers. They also have the same challenge. I have a few coworkers who recently graduated, and they found this job opportunity at the same time that I did, and they graduated a year ago from college, and they've been employed for that long. So it's not just blue collar jobs. Even professional engineers are having a hard time finding jobs. But I think it's definitely turning around with this with the company willing to invest in their futures and being a little more comfortable, hiring people. I think that's really helping.
Do you think unemployment will increase or decrease? From your experience in listening to the job markets, unemployment, listening to politicians argue about the job market and how to improve it, do you think it will increase or decrease in the following years?
I try not to predict because I listen to radio every day and you hear, a company file a report saying that the unemployment rate goes down, and then it's ended up staying the same. And then a few days, next month, they said unemployment's going to go up and unemployment goes down. I think instead of try to quantify how much improvement, I think people should spend more time and more money and focus on how to create more industry, expand our industry so that we can create job opportunities for people.
Going back to your globalizations on world economies, as a former unemployed college-educated person, what is your opinion on overseas jobs? And how do you think overseas jobs are impacting students just entering the workforce from exiting college?
From my personal view, think I don't think globalization is such a bad thing. It definitely takes jobs opportunity away from the U.S., but at the same time, it allows our students to realize that we're competing in a global economy. You have to compete with students from all over the world, and I think that might actually increase the need of improving our education system. Increasing our students' performance in order to compete with students from all over the world. With that being said, I actually did my graduate research in China, and I also attended conferences in Japan, and you see that globalization is actually a really good thing. You work with people from all over the world. You learn how they learn things, how they do things, and you learn from each other's mistakes, and you increase communication among engineers from all over the world. And from my personal experience, I enjoy globalization. I think it's good for our country in the future because we have to learn to work with other countries and as well as engineers from other countries, especially in graduate school. You have graduate students coming from all over the world. Globalization's not that much different in a graduate school setting. In the job market, it's definitely challenging. They're moving a lot of labor-intensive work to overseas because labor is much cheaper overseas. But I think in the long run, it might actually push our technology, push our industry to more of a global mindset. Encourage our students to do better in school in order to compete with students from all over the world.
Going to how labor is cheap overseas. How do you feel about American jobs being shipped overseas while graduated or graduating college students like yourself, ready to work, are denied the employment because companies are shipping available jobs overseas because labor is cheap and that there are more available people to work in those poor conditions?
I think it's challenging when you're unemployed for 6 months. You're looking everywhere for jobs and you're looking for every opportunity. And it's nice now that there are a lot of companies willing to invest. But if company invests out of country, invests in places that's out of country, they still need people to go overseas to train these intensive labor countries that can provide lower cost laborers. And the other downside is companies do consider the quality that they are producing with cheaper laborers. People, yeah, there are a lot of, in India, there's a lot of people who can afford, who will work cheap, but at the same time, you don't get the same kind of quality you do as with a lot of quality assurance intensive process that we have in place in America. So you definitely get different kind of qualities going overseas, and it's something that's up to the company to decide whether it's worthwhile to do that. And I think in the long run, company will realize that such as with Germany, they produce high quality products, and their labor is not cheap, but they're able to survive in this economy and still do well and still help out other economies. So I think it at times it's definitely challenging, but I think it definitely depends on what companies' view of what their future will be.
Now going back to companies and investments and how companies are investing now, do you think the United States economy will ever return to its normal pre-recession growth that prior to 2008? Will companies want to invest more now, or are they still feeling restricted?
I mean, with what I've read and what I hear on the radio, on the news, I think company has the money. It's just whether they're willing to spend it, or how comfortable they are with the market situation for them to invest in the future. And I think it's getting better, so the company are feeling more comfortable. But at the same time, prior to 2008, we've been moving so fast that I think people doesn't realize we're heading for a recession. So I think, I'm not sure it's a good idea to go back to that stage. I think it might be a good idea to move forward. I mean, like economy with more jobs available, but at the same time, I think it will require industry shift to other opportunities. And I think we have to be a little more careful about how we proceed and how we're expanding our economy in the future.
The final question would be, if you had command of the U.S. economy, what would your plan be to revive the U.S. economy? And how would you approach that plan? As well as, will overseas jobs being returned back to American soil be part of that plan?
Not sure I'm the right person to ask that question. I personally, I enjoy working with people from all over the world. Returning jobs to the U.S. soil, I personally, I think there are newer technologies out there to be developed. America has always been top in the world in developing new technologies and using that technology to benefit the mankind and improving technological enhancements. But at the same time, if those blue collar jobs are moving overseas, maybe we can train those blue collars to a new profession. We can head in a different direction instead of going backwards. And I don't think moving those jobs back to the U.S. is going to solve anything. I think we need to look forward. We need to proceed forward. Think about what's in the future that we can build in order to move our country forward.
Okay, this is all the time we have, so thank you for this interview.